Library Sensation. I'm your host, Dan, and in this episode, I'm going to be taking a nostalgic look back at some old issues of Heavy Metal magazine. Okay, so in this episode, I'm going to be looking at early issues. These are all from the first 2 years of Heavy Metal magazine. And what brought this on was I was watching the Turbo Pit Fighter channel where the two creators there talk about comics that have influenced them. And we have a lot of those kind of comics in common. And they were doing the first issue of Heavy Metal. Somebody had, one of them had ordered it through the mail and was looking through it. And maybe very nostalgic. Back in the day, I subscribed to Heavy Metal. One of the few things I subscribed to it because they kept advertising it in National Lampoon. And I was reading National Lampoon at the time. And National Lampoon is where I would order my, where I ordered my first underground comics from. And then I started getting catalogs from some of the places. But they were advertising subscriptions for this thing like well over a year before it actually came out. And they were putting a lot of money into it. And I think it must have been delayed or something. I don't think they were putting dates on the first ads they were running for the subscription. It seemed like I sent my money in and then I was waiting and waiting. But I mean, that actually might have just been me. But so anyway, in like the mid 90s, and one of my, over the years, I've moved a lot. I've had to shed, I didn't have the space or, to keep hold of all the stuff I had. And I was making some tough decisions. I had some of the Heavy Metal books of my favorite stories from this. So at one point I got rid of it. I got rid of my issues. I had most of the first, 5 or 6 years, I guess I had them. Maybe longer than that. I'm not sure. I don't remember anymore. After seeing them look through that first issue, I thought to myself, well, gee, I really would like to see a couple of those. And so I got on eBay, and there was someone selling off some old issues. And these were all, by the time I paid for them, they're not in good shape, but they're good reader copies. So I ordered these off eBay. This is a random lot. This is issue 3, I believe, is the earliest one. Like I said, these are all from the first 2 years. So I have a couple of cheap issues to look through. Now, I really wanted to look through them and, record my own surprise, my own recollection of these things, and being going like, oh yeah, this, and me trying to work my brain through what I remembered about these things, because that's part of the whole exercise of this channel for me. But there was loud music playing outside from one of my neighbors. I didn't think my microphone was going to pick it up. It did though. So, I'm just recording this on my phone. So, I really, it was all messed up. So I'm redoing it now. I decided, instead of me going through, there's a couple times where I was a little dismissive of artwork or stories I didn't like. And, that might have been, on one hand, I kind of like to do that kind of thing, just to let you know what my tastes are like. But since I've already gone through this, that is, there's no chance of that now. So what I'm going to do is I highlighted a couple things that I wanted to point out. I didn't point out the same artists or stories in every issue. If they're in one and I'm pointing them out, I'm probably not going to point them out a second time. So I've just hit some highlights. And so I won't talk, just because I don't talk about a story doesn't mean I disliked it. I just didn't feel like I had anything to say about it. So anyway, like I said, this is June 1977. This is still from the first year of it. I think this is issue 3. I don't know if it actually says the numbers of the issues on these things anywhere. Oh, well, it says enclosed, please find heavy metal number 3. So it doesn't say it down in here, but it does say it in there. I don't know that it's going to do that every time, though. Table of contents. First 2 issues of Heavy Metal are collector's items already, but they were selling them for a long time, I remember, after this, so they were easy to get hold of. So the first thing I was going to point out was this black and white, I think you say his name Droulet. Droulet? Is it Droulet or Droulet? Let's say. Droulet. I think it's Droulet. He's a guy who had really weird, when I saw this, I thought it was super weird, and but I liked it. I liked that he had these big, he always did these big weird vistas, and his art didn't look like anything else. It seemed like it's very influential on a lot of the 2000 AD artists and stuff. Really cool. His character designs for things are usually pretty weird. And here's Von Boyd. That's somebody who I was very familiar with from Undergrounds, and also his stuff would appear in National Lampoon too. So he was all over the place. He's got this funny cartoony way of doing things. His characters are, I do like it. I like his color in this too. I like the color choices he made. Pretty fun. Like I said, this is put out by the National Lampoon. There's some of there's the Cheech Wizard. That's his, Cheech Wizard was his character that was in the National Lampoon and some of the other comics. Rock Blitz, I was going to point this out. This is Sergio Macedo, I think is how you say his name. And he does this futuristic biker gang, aliens kind of thing. And it's kind of weird art. You know, the combination of the greasers and the weird elements kind of reminds me a bit of Spain. You know, and his combination of futuristic stuff with retro and this bizarre stuff. But anyway, yeah, they're interesting. That's one of the ones who was popular enough that they put out a collection. But now here was one of the big things, one of the reasons I was so into this. Den, you know, it's got the kind of color work he had been doing for, you know, like Warren, but it's got the nudity and graphics that he was getting away with in the Undergrounds. And yeah. Now this is, of course, I love he just has it flying. Now, of course, Den is being recolored, redone for the Dark Horse reissues, and I gotta say, it looks fantastic. Definitely something to check out. I just love this stuff. You know, I saw some Corbin somewhere. Where was I? I think it was something else I was looking at. And I was wondering where the Corbin Robert E. Howard stuff had been published. It looks like maybe it was in this. I don't have this thing, but apparently a new deluxe collector's edition of Fantasy Verse by Robert E. Howard with illustrations by Richard Corbin and Frank Frazetta. And here is, this piece is Frazetta. There's some Corbin. More Corbin. And that might be, if I saw all the pieces, maybe I could put it, maybe this is where that comes from, those images I saw. I don't know though for sure. And of course, here's Moebius. how he was drawing stuff like that. It really was. It's very strange. It's like Hergé and Tintin. I never really read Tintin. The stories leave me cold. But Hergé, people like Moebius, sometimes the way they handle architecture and places is just wild. Um, Now later on, they started doing all that airtight garage, which I thought I was going to like, but the more it went on, the less I understood what was supposed to be happening, and I started to dislike that. But this early Moebius is maybe in. Here's January 1978. Nice cover. Oh, there's a good roulette cover on the back. Here's one of these ads. You can see this company, Krupp mail order. I don't know if they went on to get a different name or not. Boulder, Colorado sounds familiar as something else. But see, that's where I would get, or places like this. I don't know if I already had a bunch of these slow desks before then. I think it was Last Gasp who was advertising the most in, it might have been Bud Plant. Some I think they're probably both advertising in those early issues of National Lampoon. I no longer have those either, so I can't tell you which ads for sure those were either. But yeah, I had been ordering. That's where you know. Oh, this version of Ulysses was pretty cool. I do remember that some of this isn't the complete one, but it's a pretty big bite of this story, and it's my favorite part. Aside from these, the guy draws some great looking women. Of course, this is when Ulysses meets the Cyclops, and he's got a really wild, weird variation on the Cyclops. I love the Cyclops and the way they've shown the hairy, bestial body and the hatching on it. Because the way the hatching's done is the same way they're doing the backgrounds and stuff, and it's so cool. And this was put out into a book form. I didn't get it because, like I said, my favorite part was this, and I had this issue, so I didn't pick that up. It's just too bad. I wonder what this is going for nowadays. Here's one of the ads when they first started doing the collected books. I'd point that out. There's another ad with some other ones later. I don't know, but I had already marked this one. So here's some more Den. With this very Lovecraftian type of cosmic monster. There's the airtight garage. Like I said, looks fantastic. Couldn't make head nor tails of it. So it was really just frustrating to me. Conquering Armies is another one that got collected and was in most issues. There was a dud episode or so of these that every once in a while there'd be one I didn't like. But this is one of the first people I noticed, but I had seen it in I guess I had seen some of the black and white work of some of the undergrounds, but the way they were doing the black and white artwork and what they were leaving out and what they were filling in really stood out to me. And it just, visually, it was very, very interesting to me. And I think it's really well done. I like this. Like I said, I'm a sword and sorcery kind of guy. Now, there's no sorcery part in this. Look at that. Great. Great stuff. Oh, did I miss something in one of those? issues. Oh no, I forgot to take the thing off. All right, I'll move a little quicker. I just flipped through these and now I'm stopping again. See, this looks like the kind of color and art that's on the later issues, not these early ones. This was what really surprised me. I had kind of forgotten about the Sinbad because the Sinbad I was buying, even though I had the issues, I was buying the Corbin stuff when they collected it in books. And this was collected, but I remember not liking it very much. And so I hadn't picked up the book, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm going like, I should be giving this another chance. I might have to look up the collected one, or maybe they're going to reissue it eventually through the Dark Horse thing. The thing with the Dark Horse, you know, I don't know if you can really wait around to, to see if they're going to reissue it or not, because it's probably going to take so many years to get through all his stuff if they're doing it all. Which is what you would really hope. But, it would take some deep pockets to do the whole thing, because some of this is not going to sell nearly as well as the Den. But here it is. I didn't really like this. I like when his heroes have the head of a wolf or are really bizarre looking, like Den. Just to have a regular guy as your hero, that doesn't fit Corbin for me. I mean, look at that guy. Looks like somebody's dad. He's maybe the coach of your kid's soccer team or something. But all the other stuff is really cool. It's a cool monster and stuff. When I saw I didn't have very much money when I went to Baltimore Comic Con this year, but I did notice that Jason Hamlin, his booth, he had a lot of the Corbin collections, and he wasn't really charging that much for them. If I'd had some money, I might have picked some of them up, but they were really reasonably priced. And this one, I like this artwork. I forget what's this guy's name? This is just a gag. It's a 4-page gag. And I won't ruin it for you. There's Gillette. These big vistas. This color is really... Oh, here's some... Okay, so there's the first three, and then you see here, there was the Ulysses, there's another Moebius, there's the Conquering Armies. These probably be fun to track down. I'm sure they're expensive as hell now. And also, if I remember correctly, the ones I did get kind of fell apart. They were not the greatest. I'm not a big Morrow fan, Gary Morrow. He draws very similar to some people I really like. And I'm not, and this coloring is kind of not that interesting to me. But he does do some good character design and stuff. And he's not bad. He's not just not a big favorite. I don't know why. There's September 78. There's some more Morrow. Draws a heck of a woman. Oh, Orion, hold, you would suckle poison. Bitch, I'll be damned. So she had put poison on her nipples. So she must have known what he was going to go for. Oh, and this is somebody, I don't know why I never looked, and now that I'm looking at this, I should look more of this up. I do like this a lot. This kind of reminds me of the some of the Spanish and Filipino artists who work for Warren. I guess this guy, he is European, so that would fit that his work would look kind of like the Spanish artists that Warren had. And this looks like it would be at home in one of the horror mags. And a monster. And she sends our hero off. He saves her, but he sends her off. And she's going like, now that that big monster is gone, people will return to our city. And that's great, because then I'm a vampire and I need people to visit our city. Oh, well. This one was weird. This Croatian, written by Harlan Ellison, art by Tom Sutton and Alfredo Alcala. I think that's how you say his name. It really takes too long to get where it's going. That looks off register pretty bad there. And it's another one that has a weird surprise ending that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But these aborted fetuses that have turned into this army of kids riding alligators that have been flushed down the sewers, and it's tied to Roanoke, the colony at Roanoke that disappeared. And this Hale Man, I don't remember exactly about this, but the swastika double S's formed together to make the H, and then Hale Man. I really don't know what this guy's trying to say, but this is like a David Bowie type looking spaceman, and he saves this grotesque looking race and destroys all the good looking people who were enslaving them. And then he goes like, I'm going to end my own life because, I don't want to live on this planet now that all the good people are dead and it's deceased. And it turns out the being he saves is... Anyway, this is weird. That collage of that woman's photograph of a woman's face in there. Great vistas, though. Anyway, I do have one more. Oh, what was that one for? Oh, it was from Gillette. All right, folks, I'm almost done. There's some more of them. Oh, there's some more of that. I don't want to keep going over the same thing. There's more of the Sinbad thing by Corbin. And this one also, this is where Sinbad is hiding in this treasure room, and he discovers that the evil djinn is in league with the big-bosomed woman who he thinks he's going to be, he about went to bed with. Here's more of the airtight garage with this fantastic artwork and a story that made no sense. And this is a bizarre comic where it's all photo references from like Clockwork Orange and Rock Band photos. And this was a big thing. They've been advertising this, I think, since the first issue, this graphic novel adaptation of The Star Is My Destination, famous sci-fi novel. And they have a huge, like I said, they've been advertising it nonstop. And then they have a huge bit of it here in the magazine. A big part of it. Didn't really ring any bells with, didn't make me want to buy it, but yeah. There's there's a story by Ellison. Oh, and this artist, his design stuff is taken from all over the place. The line work and stuff is very, this is like 40s nose art kind of writing on their planes, although they don't see that. This nude woman. There's that one. Oh, I do like how her outfit looks here. Anyway, that was just a quick breeze through. It does remind me why I thought, because there's there's a lot of stories I didn't flip through, didn't show off because, it didn't really do much for me. And that's the way it is with any anthology. You weigh the good things. Thing is, though, that Heavy Metal Magazine turned me on to some artists that I still love to this day, and it was great at the time. It was really wonderful. I mean, our access to the foreign comics was very, very limited, and this really opened up a lot of avenues. Now, some of the later issues, there's been decades of this magazine I haven't read, so but I would occasionally pick up some, and they'd still be doing some European artists, but it seemed like there was what I believe to be a lot more American artists in the magazine, and a lot of the artwork was more they kept up with the times, so they were picking artists who looked more like the popular artists. Like I seem to recall a time when heavy metal had artists who were really influenced by Image comics, or what I imagine, not being a huge fan of Image, things that seemed to superficially at least remind me of the Image guys. Anyway, I mean, if I had the time and money, I'd read every issue of Heavy Metal, but that doesn't exist. I hope this might have rang a few bells for some of you too. Let me know if there's anything you would recommend. I have picked up some things people have been recommending to me in the comments, and I've quite enjoyed them. Not every one of them, guys, but yeah, there's some good stuff out there, and I certainly don't know about it all. Thanks, folks.